So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the standard form of a polynomial, and you can write polynomials however you want. However, when we only have one variable, we usually write them in this standard form. The standard form of a polynomial has the terms in order from greatest to least degree. So we're going to go from our highest degree to our lowest degree. And then once you have it in standard form, the coefficient of the first term is called the leading coefficient, which kind of makes sense because it's leading everything in the polynomial. It's out in front. So if we look, we have this polynomial. It's in standard form. If you notice, because we have degree 3, degree 2, degree 1, degree 0. Okay? They're in order of degrees. 4x cubed had the degree of 3. Remember, you look at the exponent of the variable to see what the degree is. And if it has no variable, the degree is 0. So they're in order of degree, which makes it in standard form. The greatest degree is always going to be your first term. Greatest degree is 3, so we could say the degree of this whole polynomial. So polynomial has a degree of 3. And then the leading coefficient would be 4, because the coefficient of the first term is 4. That's the coefficient out in front. So what we're going to do in the second example is actually put some polynomials in standard form and then identify the leading coefficient. To put them in standard form, we first have to figure out the degree of each of the terms and then put them in order of degree. This first term has a degree of 2. Second term has a degree of 5. Third term has a degree of 1. So we're going to put them in order of degree. Now, when you do this, you cannot ignore the sign in front of the term. So I see plus 4x to the fifth, which means I have positive 4x to the fifth. So I'm going to write it as positive 4x to the fifth. Then, so that's my first term, because it had the highest degree. Then I go to my second highest degree. Degree of 2, 3x squared. This is positive 3x squared, so I'm going to write plus 3x squared. Then I have to write my last term. Okay? We have this minus 7x right there. Notice I'm looking at the sign in front of the term, so I'm going to write minus 7x. And now we have it in standard form because we have it in order of degree. We go 5, 2, 1. It's in order of highest to lowest, which means it's in standard form. Then the last thing we want to do is identify the leading coefficient. Remember, the leading coefficient is always the term out in front. So our leading coefficient would be 4, because that is the coefficient of our first term. So let's look at part B. We want to put these in order. So first thing we got to do is identify the degrees of each of our monomials. So each term we want to know the degree. So first one has a degree of 1, second term has a degree of 0, third term has a degree of 4, fourth term has a degree of 3. So now I go 4, 3, 1, 0. I got to put them in order of highest degree to lowest degree. Again, always keeping in mind the sign in front of the term. So here I've got minus 2y to the fourth, because it had a negative sign in front of it. So I checked off my fourth. Now I go to third. There we have minus 6y cubed. So I did my third. Now I go to my next highest one, which is 1. This is positive 5y, so I'm going to write plus 5y. Got that one taken care of. Now I do my last term, minus 9. And that's all it takes to put in standard form. Notice, if you haven't caught on by now, the exponents always just go in order of least to greatest, which makes sense because the exponents are where we get our degrees from. Same thing over here. Exponents went in order from least to greatest. It's order of degrees, but if you need to think about it as highest exponent goes first, that will work just as well. Last thing we need to do is identify the leading coefficient. Obviously, the leading coefficient here would be negative 2 because that is the coefficient of the first term in my polynomial.